It's easy, why dumping on it.
This pig is special. This is called Enviro pig, and when mass-produced will help save the environment by producing less harmful waste and damaging methane gases by allowing it to digest phosphorus from plant material. The idea behind the study and creation of Enviro pig is to create an animal that can be mass-produced to feed millions, and at the same time be safe for the environment. Scientists in Canada genetically developed this pig from the DNA of E. coli bacteria, and mice. Sounds yummy. Scripture is clear about what animals are to be as food and what animals are not.
What does that look like to you? It's man-bear pig.
All that. This is waste from different businesses, bakeries, cookie places, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some of your favorite foods, but they just molded and old. Got a bunch of rats and stuff in them. Yep, they all going in here. Up the line to the grinder. This is really hog feed, okay? All they do is, it's a process, you know what I'm saying? Of course they try to take out all the trash, as much trash as they can, but this is the ending process. Feed. Told y'all. Boxes and all. It don't matter. It all go in there. Look at that shit. And then y'all eat the hog.
Today, we have clear scientific evidence that shows why pigs are not good for human consumption, despite what the pork lobby may tell you. In the very last chapter of Isaiah, we read the 17th verse about those who consume the flesh of pigs, and the abomination, and the mouse. Let's start at verse 15 and read down to verse 17 in order to get the context. Isaiah 66, 15 through 17. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse, shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. Wow. Now that is some tough scripture for those found eating what the Father calls unclean. But wait a minute. Swine's flesh, the abomination, and the mouse? That sounds an awful lot like the Enviro pig being developed in Canada. The Enviro pig was developed using E. coli bacteria and mice DNA. Is the abomination mentioned in Scripture referring to E. coli bacteria? Well, E. coli bacteria comes from the lower intestines of warm-blooded animals. So basically, it's manure. It's a good chance the Father would call eating it an abomination. The mixing of these DNA with the swine DNA helped to produce a pig that these experts say will benefit all of humanity and the Earth's environment.
Do you see it?
Yes, we see it, Mr. Gore.
Something big is going on, and the American people need to know what. I'm off!
I was looking at the science. I found a 2013 Consumer Report that discussed how 69% of raw pork samples were contaminated with a number of different bacteria and parasites, particularly very high in Yersinia enterocolitica, which is a really bad parasite to get. It causes a lot of GI stress, so gastrointestinal stress, diarrhea. I mean, a lot of reports of people die all over the world with this sort of infection. And so it's very hazardous. Also, on top of that, Pigs are known to carry tapeworms, which, believe it or not, very, very common. And once we get tapeworms in our system, they're very hard to eliminate. I work with a lot of clients using parasite protocols in order to help eliminate these things, but it's very challenging in order to do that. Parasites will reduce your immune system and put chronic stress on your body. A lot of these people with parasite infections, they don't sleep well at night because parasites stimulate stress hormones at night. Stress hormones go up, the individual doesn't sleep well. In fact, that's one of the signs that you may have a parasite is, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, all of a sudden you're wired, right? And you just can't fall asleep. You struggle to fall asleep no matter how hard you try. That is actually a sign, right, that a well-versed clinician will say, possibly there could be a parasite playing a role here. And pork is one of the biggest carriers of parasites. So, we look at the science, it just shows that we've got all these parasites in the animal products. And now we can cook, and we can try to really, really cook it at a high temperature to kill off as many of these parasites as possible. And that's definitely effective to a degree. But some of the parasites are actually so virulent, they're so resistant that they can survive even high heat. So an animal like pork, again, not a whole lot of vital nutrients that we can't get, really no vital nutrients that we can't get from other animals like lamb, grass-fed beef, consuming bison or wild game, wild-caught fish. We get a much greater nutrient value out of those animals, right, and consuming those than we would out of pork. And then with pork, we're also taking in a high risk for parasites and then other environmental chemicals and toxins as well.
It's easy, why? Something on it.